Hello, dear friends, and welcome. Tonight, we are journeying back to the Gilded Age of New York to spend a quiet evening with a baker's wife as the first snowfall settles gently upon the roof of her cozy cottage. So settle in, pull your blankets close, and let us begin our gentle wander through a world of amber lamplight, soft flower-dusted aprons, and the quiet grace of everyday rituals. Picture, if you will, the delicate hush of late afternoon, the air tinged with the promise of snow. The pale gold glow of oil lamps flickers softly against the window panes, illuminating shelves lined with porcelain jars and wooden boxes, each holding the treasures of a busy kitchen. The baker's wife moves through her domain with unhurried ease, her hands warmed by the kneading of dough, her heart full with the promise of another peaceful evening. Let us join her now as her story unfolds. The cottage stands nestled near the bustling yet muffled thoroughfares of a frosted New York, its brick chimney breathing ribbons of wood smoke into the crisp, early evening air. Beyond the window, the world is transformed by the season's first snowfall, each flake catching the lamplight as it drifts to earth. Indoors, the scent of fresh bread and honeyed scones embraces every corner, mingling with the faint perfume of dried lavender that hangs from a beam above. The baker's wife wears a linen apron, soft from many washings, the fabric cool against her skin where it peeks from beneath a woolen shawl. Her slippers, stitched by her own hand, glide softly across polished wooden floors. She pauses to run her fingers across a row of gleaming copper pans, each one shining with careful polish, and in this moment, her world is a tapestry of comfort and gentle industry. A gentle breeze rattles the old window pane, but the cottage remains a sanctuary of warmth. In the center of the kitchen, the baker's wife leans lovingly over a broad oak table, dusted with a fine veil of flour. Her hands, capable and kind, coax a mound of dough into smoothness with a rhythmic, soothing motion, the dough giving way beneath her palms. The soft thump of kneading is punctuated by the distant sound of a carriage passing, its wheels muffled by snow. A blue and white porcelain bowl, inherited from her mother, rests nearby, filled with shelled walnuts waiting to be folded into tomorrow's sweet bread. The afternoon light filters through lace curtains, speckling the tabletop with patterns reminiscent of frost on glass. In these small, sacred moments, she finds both creativity and calm, her heart beating in quiet harmony with the season's gentle pace. On a low shelf, nestled amongst tins of tea and glass jars of candied peel, sits a small clock with an enameled face, its ticking a soft, dependable lullaby. It marks the hour as the baker's wife moves to the hearth, where a kettle simmers over a gentle flame. The rich scent of black currant jam bubbles from a pot nearby, its color deep as garnet, promising a sweet treat for her family. She selects a cup from the Welsh dresser-thin porcelain painted with violets and edged in faded gold and fills it with steaming tea. The cup warms her hands as she gazes out toward the snow-laden garden. Beyond the window, the old walled garden beds are tucked beneath a soft quilt of white, the shapes of rosemary and thyme barely visible. A robin perches on the fence, feathers fluffed, and she smiles at this tiny guardian of winter's peace. As she sips her tea, the baker's wife's mind wanders to gentle memorous afternoons spent with her own mother, learning the secrets of yeast and spice, laughter echoing in kitchens long faded into the past. The tea, fragrant with hints of bergamot and rose, soothes her throat and spirit alike. She sets the cup on a linen napkin, its edge embroidered with bluebells, each delicate stitch a testament to patient hands and quiet evenings by the fire. The hush of the snowfall deepens, wrapping the cottage in a cocoon of serenity. Through the wavering glass, the world is transformed into a watercolor of soft grays and ivory, the city's distant bustle softened into a mere whisper. Each moment is savored, like a sweet morsel of currant bun, and she closes her eyes, breathing deeply of the comfort that surrounds her. The baker's wife rises from her chair and glides quietly across the room, her footsteps a barely audible whisper on the boards. She opens a sturdy walnut cupboard, its hinges creaking with familiar affection, and selects a beeswax candle. The candle's surface is golden and gently ridged, bearing the faint scent of honeycomb. With a delicate match, she coaxes a flame to life, and the room is suffused with a soft, amber glow. The candle sits atop a pewter dish, its light dancing over the glass bottles filled with herbal tinctures, peppermint for headaches, chamomile for restful sleep, and lemon balm for cheerfulness. She glances at a small stack of letters tucked into a basket, the topmost sealed with a violet wax stamp, a recent note from her dearest friend who now lives by the sea. She smiles, comforted by the unseen threads that link heart to heart, no matter the miles. With the table cleared and tidied, the baker's wife turns her attention to a basket of apples resting on the sill, their skins rosy and taut in the lamplight. She selects two, their surfaces cool and smooth beneath her fingertips, and slices them with a favorite knife with handle worn to a silken sheen by years of use. The sharp scent of apple mingles with the faint tang of lemon peel, and she arranges the slices on a small willow pattern plate. A drizzle of honey, golden and slow, glistens atop the fruit. She sets the plate near the hearth to gently warm, the sweet aroma joining the tapestry of scents that fill her kitchen. Outside, the snow continues its quiet ballet, each flake spinning and swirling, settling softly upon the cottage roof. The world, for this moment, is still and entirely her safe, beloved, and brimming with gentle possibility. From a wooden peg by the door, she lifts a woven basket lined with cotton, and steps into the larder, a cool, stone-lined alcove redolent of dried thyme, apples, and the faint sharpness of stored root vegetables. She surveys jars of preserved summer fruits, the glass catching the faint candlelight. Her fingers brush over a jar of preserved cherries, their ruby hue a memory of sunlit days. She closes her eyes, hearing echoes of laughter from last July, when her daughter helped pit the cherries, their hands stained crimson, laughter as bright as the fruit. The larder is a place of quiet abundance, a gentle reminder of nature's cycles and the patient, loving work of hands that store up comfort against the cold. She selects a loaf of bread, its crust still faintly warm, and returns to the kitchen, grateful for the simple pleasures that weave together her days. The baker's wife turns her attention to the mantel above the hearth, where treasures from other seasons rest: a sprig of holly, a pressed violet, a smooth pebble from a summer brook. Each object holds a story, a quiet testament to the rhythm of her life. She straightens a small photograph, sepia-toned, of herself and her husband on their wedding day, both smiling shyly in the spring sunlight. The fire crackles softly in the grate, sending up the faintest scent of pine. She sits once more at the table, breaking the loaf into thick, comforting slices, spreading each with butter churned earlier that week. The butter is pale gold, flecked with sea salt, melting into the warm bread's airy crumb. As she eats, the baker's wife savors the contrast: crisp crust, the yielding center, the faint, sweet memory of wheat fields far from the city's edge. Outside, dusk descends with a gentle inevitability, painting the snowy landscape in shades of lavender and indigo. The baker's wife sets aside her meal and moves to the window. She draws the curtain homespun linen, embroidered with trailing ivy, and feels the cool glass with her palm, marveling at the intricate frost flowers blooming there. She breathes in the peace of the evening, her breath making a soft cloud on the pane. The world is hushed now, the only sounds within are the quiet tick of the clock and the little sighs of the fire. In this moment, she closes her eyes and lets herself drift, her mind as gentle and slow as the falling snow. Perhaps, if you listen very carefully, you can feel the same calm, each heartbeat softened, each breath a lullaby. Let the stillness settle around you, dear listener, as the night deepens. Night advances with a gentle hand, its darkness never harsh but rather a velvet embrace over the snow-covered cityscape. The baker's wife moves quietly through her sitting room, where the walls are lined with shelves of beloved books, novels, herbals, and cookery volumes collected over the years. She runs a fingertip along the spines, the leather cool and textured, some titles faded with time. The room is softly lit by the golden candlelight, casting flickering shadows on the faded wallpaper where roses wind their way in gentle, repeating patterns. She selects a thin volume of poetry, the page is edged with gilt, and settles into a well-cushioned chair near the hearth. The chair's fabric, a faded damask, holds the faintest hint of lavender from the sachet tucked beneath the cushion. She opens the book and begins to read, her voice a whisper in the quiet, filling the room with words as delicate as snowflakes. Her eyes linger on a line about winter roses and quiet hope, the words blooming in her mind like petals opening in the cold. A log shifts in the grate, sending up a brief flare of warmth, and she tucks her feet beneath her woolen socks cozily thick. She glances at the tapestry she's been working on, a scene of wild violets and bluebells in spring, each stitch a small expression of patience and joy. The needle rests in its pink cushion, velvet and plump, while a skein of blue thread lies coiled like a river upon the table. The baker's wife allows herself a slow breath, savoring the moment before she threads the needle once more, the silver glint catching the candle's soft light. She begins her evening's embroidery, hands moving in gentle rhythm, the hearth crackling and the snow whispering at the window. Outside, the city's sounds are muffled by snow, each noise softened until it becomes almost musical. Gentle thud of a carriage door, the faint call of a fruit seller's bell far off, the rustle of sleigh runners along the avenue. Within the cottage, a different music reigns, the steady soft tap-tap of needle upon cloth, the subtle shifting of her skirts as she works, and the quiet, comforting sigh of the wind against the eaves. The baker's wife glances now and then at the small clock, content in the knowledge that there is nothing urgent, no schedule to keep, only the gentle progression of winter evening time. On the side table, a tin of sugared violets sits, their color like amethyst and their scent faintly floral, a little luxury saved for evenings such as this. She pops one onto her tongue, its sweetness dissolving slowly, like hope lingering after a long day. As the evening deepens, the baker's wife rises and fetches a small basket of mending. Within, her husband's shirts wait for their seams to be reinforced, and her daughter's woolen mittens, worn thin at the cuff, need a loving patch. She chooses a thimble, delicate silver piece, engraved with tiny forget-me-nots, and threads a needle with soft blue cotton. Her hands work by memory, each stitch a tiny act of care, the fabric yielding beneath her touch. She thinks of all the stories told by these garments, the laughter and hard work woven into every thread. The candle casts a golden pool of light over her lap, illuminating the gentle movement of needle and thread, and as she works, she finds herself humming a tune her mother once sang, the melody blending with the wind's whisper outside her cottage walls. A gentle knock at the door draws her attention. She sets aside her mending and moves to answer, the wooden floor cool beneath her slippers. When she opens the door, she finds her neighbor, Mrs. Ellison, wrapped in a thick shawl, her cheeks rosy from the cold. The air is filled with the scent of snow and evergreen, a bracing contrast to the warmth inside. Mrs. Ellison carries a small parcel of fresh eggs from her hens, nestled in straw, and offers them with a smile. The baker's wife invites her in, and they share a few quiet words, laughter bubbling up softly as they exchange stories of the day. Mrs. Ellison's visit is brief, but her presence lingers like the echo of a song, a reminder of the gentle bonds that tie neighbors together, especially in the hush of winter. As her neighbor departs, the baker's wife stands by the doorway for a moment, gazing out into the snowy dusk. The city's street lamps glow like lanterns lost in a silver sea, their light casting long shadows across the fresh snow. She pulls her shawl tighter around her shoulders, feeling the wool's comforting heft and the faint scent of lanolin. The wind carries the faintest strains of distant music from a parlor piano, and she lets the sound wash over her, gentle and melancholy. Closing the door, she returns to her kitchen, placing the fresh eggs carefully into a basket lined with straw. She thinks of the morning when she will use them to bake a honeyed custard tart for her family and offer small promise of warmth and sweetness to come. Turning back to the warmth of the hearth, the baker's wife takes a moment to tidy the kitchen, her movements unhurried and thoughtful. She wipes a wooden countertop, the grain of the wood smooth beneath the cloth, and arranges her tools: a favorite rolling pin, polished with use, a ceramic mixing bowl, glazed in a cheerful shade of green. She places her recipe book nearby, the leather cover creased from years of loving consultation, its pages filled with careful notes and little sketches in the margins. Each recipe is a memory, a story shared and made her own. She lingers over a page titled Winter Spice Loaf, recalling the laughter of last year's winter when her daughter dusted herself accidentally in flour, laughing as white powder settled like snow in her hair. She lifts her gaze to a simple shelf above the table where sprigs of rosemary and sage, dried and fragrant, are bound with blue ribbon. The baker's wife selects a pinch of rosemary, its leaves slightly prickly and redolent of pine and lemon. She crushes them gently between her fingers, releasing their bright scent, and sprinkles them into a pot of simmering broth on the stove. The aroma mingles with the earthy fragrance of carrots and onions, filling the cottage with the wholesome promise of supper. She stirs the pot with a wooden spoon, listening to the gentle bubble and hiss. The steam rises, curling like a silken veil, and she leans over the pot, letting the warmth caress her cheeks. For a moment, she closes her eyes, grateful for the simple abundance that fills her home on this snowy evening. A gentle clatter draws her attention to the parlor, where her daughter, Lucy, is finishing her lessons at a small desk by the window. The desk is scattered with copybooks, their pages covered in careful script, and an inkwell of deep blue ink. Lucy's hair is tied with a ribbon, and she hums softly as she writes, her cheeks rosy from time spent near the fire. The baker's wife smiles as she enters, pausing to straighten a stack of papers and retrieve a lost button. She places a hand on her daughter's shoulder, feeling the warmth and sturdy reassurance of their bond. Lucy looks up, her eyes bright, and together they share a moment of quiet pride in the day's learning. The world outside may be frozen, but inside these walls, love and knowledge bloom in the coziest of climates. The evening meal is a simple affair, served near the hearth with the fire crackling gently. The table is set with pewter plates, heavy and cool to the touch, and a linen runner decorated with ivy leaves embroidered in neat, green stitches. The baker's wife ladles out bowls of savory stew, the broth steaming, flecked with carrots and pearl barley. Her husband, coat dusted with flour, enters from the shop and offers a fond smile. He pulls a chair close, where the heat from the fire warms their legs, and they join hands for a brief moment of silent thanks. The meal is eaten slowly, each bite a comfort, the flavors of winter herbs and root vegetables mingling with the sweetness of companionship. The snow outside thickens, turning the world to soft velvet, as laughter and quiet conversation fill the cottage with gentle warmth. As the meal draws to a close, the baker's wife pours warm apple cider into thick ceramic mugs, the scent of cinnamon and cloves rising in fragrant curls. She presses a slice of orange into each cup, the color bright against the earthy glaze of the pottery. Lucy yawns, eyes drooping, and leans against her mother's shoulder, the weight both familiar and precious. The firelight dances on the family's faces, painting them in shades of gold and apricot. The baker's wife listens to the gentle murmur of her husband's voice as he recounts a charming tale from his youth, stories of far-off villages, bustling with market folk, and childhood games played in fields of golden rye. These stories are woven into the fabric of their lives, soft as the shawl around her shoulders, and she treasures the comfort of shared memories on this peaceful winter's night. After supper, the family moves to the parlor, where a small upright piano stands near the window. Lucy, eager to play, opens a leather-bound book of music, its pages slightly yellowed with age. Her fingers, small and nimble, pick out a gentle melody, each note a silver thread weaving through the still evening air. The baker's wife listens, her heart swelling with quiet pride as Lucy stumbles gently, then recovers, the music never faltering long. Her husband sits nearby, whittling a small piece of wood into the shape of a bird, his knife moving with assured patience. The candlelight shimmers on the polished keys and the music lulls the cottage into a deeper sense of calm. Outside, the snow glows faintly under the watchful gaze of the moon, each flake a silent blessing. With music lingering in the air, the baker's wife tidies the parlor, folding a knitted blanket and arranging a cluster of pillows on the settee. Each pillow is covered in fabric scraps, soft flannel, ticking stripe, and faded calico hand-stitched into cheerful patterns. The blanket, woven from thick wool, is heavy and warm, its colors reminiscent of heather and moss. She smooths the folds, her hands lingering on the comforting textures, then returns to the hearth. There she places another log on the glowing embers, the pine filling the room with a green, resinous scent as it catches. The fire hisses gently, a quiet counterpoint to the snowy hush beyond the cottage walls. The baker's wife watches the flames, lost for a moment in their dance, and lets her thoughts wander to old friends and distant family, sending silent wishes for their well-being on this winter's night. She rises and crosses to a small writing desk where a stack of paper and envelopes awaits. Selecting a sheet of creamy paper, she uncaps her fountain pen and begins a letter to her sister, who lives in a sunlit town far north. The ink flows smoothly, the soft scratching of pen on paper a comforting sound. She writes of the first snowfall, of Lucy's music, of the scent of apples and cinnamon that fills their home. She describes the way the city seems to pause beneath its blanket of snow, the usual clangor softened to a lull. Her words are gentle, filled with hope and affection, and she pauses now and then to look out the window, imagining her sister reading the letter by her own fire. When the letter is done, she seals it with violet wax and sets it aside for the morning's post, heart full with the comfort of connection. The baker's wife lingers at the writing desk, her gaze drifting to a small vase of dried hydrangeas, their petals papery and pale, yet still beautiful in the lamplight. She brushes a finger over the delicate blooms, recalling summer days in the garden, the buzz of bees, the drowsy drone of afternoons spent among the flowers. The hydrangeas are a memory preserved, a gentle nod to the cyclical nature of seasons and life. She smiles softly, thinking of the garden buried under snow, each root and bulb sleeping, gathering strength for another spring. The quiet hopefulness of the moment soothes her, and she draws her shawl more closely about her shoulders, feeling its warmth as the cottage settles deeper into the embrace of night. From the parlor, the gentle ticking of the mantel clock marks the passage of time, each beat steady and reassuring. The baker's wife returns to the kitchen and begins preparing dough for the morning's bread, her most cherished ritual. She measures flour, the powder whispering from her scoop, and adds water, yeast, and a touch of sugar. The mixture comes together beneath her hands, smooth and elastic. She kneads it with care, the dough yielding and soft, its promise filling her with quiet contentment. The bowl she uses is heavy and cool, its rim chipped from years of faithful service. As she works, she hums softly, the melody weaving through the kitchen, grounding her in the moment. The dough, once shaped, is covered with a linen cloth and set near the fire to rise, cradled in the warmth that fills her home. With the dough set aside, she wipes her hands on a cotton cloth, its fabric printed with faded violets and edged in hand-crocheted lace. The cloth is dear to her, a gift from her mother long ago, and as she folds it, she lingers over each stitch, recalling stories shared in kitchens past. The room is filled with a golden hush, the fire's light glancing off her wedding ring, the metal worn smooth by years of work and gentle affection. She places the cloth in a drawer lined with lavender sachets, the scent rising softly, calming and clean. In the corner, the family's ginger cat stretches, purring as it curls tighter on a braided rug, its fur catching the light in warm, coppery tones. The baker's wife smiles, feeling the peaceful presence of every living soul within her domain, and lets her heart be soothed by the ordinary wonders of the evening. She moves quietly to the cupboard and selects a tin of tea Earl Grey, its leaves fragrant with bergamot. She measures a spoonful into a blue enameled teapot, pouring in water heated just below the boil. The steam curls upward, clouding the glass of the nearby window and painting the air with hope. She takes down a cup, its handle chipped but beloved, and places it on a saucer painted with yellow primroses. As the tea steeps, she sits at the table and listens to the soft, contented breathing of her daughter, now curled up on the settee with a storybook. The world is hushed, the only sound the gentle tick of the kitchen clock and the faint, rhythmic patter of snow against the panes. She pours herself a cup, the tea's warmth radiating through her hands as she closes her eyes and sips, letting the peace of the moment seep into her bones. The baker's wife stands and moves to the front window, drawing aside the curtain just enough to watch the snow swirl silently in the lamplight. The city's rooftops are buried beneath a luminous blanket, chimney smoke rising in slow spirals, vanishing into the indigo sky. She marvels at the way the world is transformed, familiar cobblestones softened, fences and hedgerows painted with silver. She spies a pair of children across the street, bundled in scarves and mittens, fashioning snowballs and laughing, their mirth a soft echo even through the glass. Her own childhood returns in a rush of memory, skating on frozen ponds, warming hands by a crackling fire, the scent of pine and clove in the air. She presses her palm to the cold glass, grateful for the warmth within and the beauty that lies just beyond her door. Returning to the hearth, she finds her family gaffer husband reading the newspaper, Lucy nestled against his side, eyes heavy with sleep. The cat purrs contentedly at their feet, the sound like a lullaby in the quiet room. The baker's wife strokes Lucy's hair, smoothing a stray curl, and whispers a gentle good night. Her daughter stirs, offering a sleepy smile before drifting into dreams. The baker's wife tucks a quilt around her, its patchwork squares stitched from old dresses and worn shirts, each with its own story. She sits quietly beside her husband, his hand finding hers, their fingers entwined with familiar ease. Together, they watch the fire burn low, the embers glowing softly in the grate. The cottage is a haven now, wrapped in the hush of snow, held safe by the love that fills its rooms. The clock strikes 8, its chime sweet and clear in the gentle hush. The baker's wife rises and moves through the cottage, checking that doors are latched and curtains drawn against the winter night. She lingers for a moment in the small, cool pantry, rearranging jars of preserves and tucking a sprig of rosemary behind a crock of honey. The air is tinged with the scent of apples and cloves, comforting and familiar. She listens to the quiet, the only sounds the faint sigh of the wind and the distant chime of church bells softened by snow. In the hallway, she pauses before a framed sampler on the wall, the embroidery spelling out a simple blessing, peace to all who enter here. Her heart echoes the sentiment, and she lets the words settle deep within her, a promise to herself and to those she loves. The soft lamplight in the parlor glints off the polished wood of a spinning wheel, a relic from her own grandmother's cottage. The baker's wife sits for a moment, her hand resting on the smooth curve of the wheel, recalling evenings spent learning to spin wool into thread, the rhythmic whirring like a lullaby. She draws a length of wool from a basket nearby, its fibers cloud-soft and lanolin-scented. She spins gently, feet moving steadily on the treadle, the thread twisting between her fingers, strong and fine. The process is meditative, each turn a gentle surrender to the flow of time. She thinks of all the hands that have spun before her, the generations of women whose quiet labors made warmth and comfort possible. The memory is a balm, and she smiles softly as the wheel hums its old, familiar song. From a shelf near the window, she retrieves a small tin of lavender balm, its contents made last summer from herbs gathered in the walled garden. She opens the tin, releasing a gentle scent of sun-warmed lavender and beeswax, and smooths a little onto her hands, chapped by winter's chill. The balm is silky, soothing her skin and spirit alike. She rubs the remainder into her wrists, where her pulse beats soft and slow, and breathes deeply of the calming aroma. The baker's wife glances at her reflection in the window, gentle face framed by loose curls, eyes bright with the quiet satisfaction of a day well lived. She draws her shawl more closely around her, feeling the reassuring weight, and sits for a moment watching the snow as it falls, each flake a small miracle, silent and perfect, drifting towards earth. She stands and moves into the tiny scullery where the evening's dishes await. The basin is porcelain, cool and smooth, and she fills it with steaming water, the scent of lemon soap rising in gentle clouds. She washes each plate and cup with care, the soft clink and swirl of water almost musical in the stillness. Her hands move with practiced ease, finding comfort in the familiar rhythm. She sets each piece on a linen towel to dry, the fabric crisp and clean beneath her touch. The kitchen is hushed now, the day's activity winding down to a peaceful close. The only sound is the quiet drip of water and the distant crackle of the fire. The baker's wife gazes around her tidy kitchen, content in the simple order she has created, and lets herself rest in the calm of the evening. From the cupboard she takes a jar of honey, its golden depths catching the lamplight, and spoons a small portion into a bowl for tomorrow's breakfast. She recalls the summer day when she gathered the honey, the hive humming with industry, the air alive with the scent of clover. She places the bowl on the pantry shelf and covers it with a square of muslin, tied with twine. The soft cloth is embroidered at the corners, a design of tiny bees and wildflowers. As she arranges the pantry, her fingers brush over a wooden butter churn, its handle smooth from years of use, and a row of stoneware jars filled with pickled cucumbers and onions. These small acts of preparation settle her mind, each task a quiet assurance against the uncertainties of the world beyond her door. With her chores completed, the baker's wife returns to the parlor and lifts her embroidery hoop, resuming her tapestry of wild violets. The needle glides through the linen, drawing up loops of violet and green thread, each stitch a soft punctuation in the story of her evening. She thinks of her mother, who taught her to sew by the light of a single candle, their laughter mingling with the shadow play on the walls. The fire glimmers in the hearth, casting shifting patterns upon her work, and she lets her mind wander to the garden in spring, violets pushing up through the last of the frost, petals trembling in the breeze. The rhythm of needle and thread is as soothing as the ticking of the clock, and she feels herself growing drowsy, wrapped in the gentle embrace of memory and craft. On a small table nearby rests a bowl of sugared almonds, their shells tinted pale pink and white. She picks one up, its surface smooth and cool, and lets it dissolve slowly on her tongue, the sweetness unfolding with each breath. The almonds remind her of christenings and weddings, of gifts exchanged in quiet joy. She recalls her own wedding, her hands trembling as she tied her bouquet with blue ribbon, her new husband's shy smile. The memory is gentle, softened by the years and warmed by the fire's glow. She glances at the little silver frame on the mantel, a photograph of their wedding day, the edges worn by many loving hands. In these small tokens, she finds reassurance, a sense of continuity and belonging that weaves through all the days of her life, turning the ordinary into the blessedly extraordinary. The baker's wife sets her embroidery aside and gathers a small, battered journal from the shelf. She opens it to a page marked with a dried clover, its leaves pale and pressed flat. The journal is filled with recipes, notes, and reminiscences, precious thoughts captured in careful script. She reads an entry from a snowy evening years before, the scent of rising bread, her daughter's first laugh, the soft glow of a winter moon. These memories bloom in her heart, comforting and sweet. She adds a few lines about tonight's snowfall, Lucy's music, and the taste of warm bread with honey. The pen glides easily, the ink dark as midnight, and she savors the act of recording these moments, each word a thread in the fabric of her family's story. Closing the journal, the baker's wife sets it gently back on the shelf and lifts her teacup for a final sip. The tea is now cool, its flavor mellowed, and she breathes deeply of the lingering scent of bergamot. Outside, the wind sighs against the eaves, a lullaby of winter night. She rises and moves to the window, peering into the darkness beyond the glass. The snow has thickened, each flake drifting quietly, layering the world in deeper silence. Street lamps cast golden pools on the white ground, and the shadows of trees are long and gentle. She draws the curtain shut, the fabric falling soft and heavy, and turns back to her cottage, its every corner filled with warmth and the promise of safe slumber. The night is still, every detail a quiet benediction. She makes her way to her daughter's room, the floorboards cool beneath her slippered feet. Lucy sleeps peacefully, tucked beneath a quilt of pastel colors and tiny rosebuds. Her small hands are curled against her cheek, and a book rests open beside her, its pages fluttered by a gentle draught. The baker's wife leans over, brushing a curl from her brow, and presses a gentle kiss to her forehead. The room is fragrant with dried lavender, and a porcelain doll rests at the foot of the bed. She straightens the covers and dims the lamp, the light falling in soft halos on the pale wallpaper. She whispers a blessing as she leaves, her heart overflowing with gratitude for the quiet joys that fill her days. The house, wrapped in the hush of snowfall, settles into a deeper stillness, each room a haven of rest. Returning to the parlor, the baker's wife sits by the fire, her hands folded in her lap. The flames burn low, sending up an occasional spark that pops softly in the quiet. She closes her eyes, listening to the gentle breathing of her husband as he dozes in his chair, the cat curled on his knee. The rhythm of their breaths is steady and calm, a lullaby in the hush of the evening. She sits in peaceful watchfulness, her own eyelids growing heavy, mind drifting between thought and dream. The warmth of the fire seeps into her bones, and she lets herself rest, content in the knowledge that her family is safe, the cottage snug, and the snow outside a soft, silent blessing. The world narrows to this moment of stillness, where only peace remains. The baker's wife rises once more, moving quietly through the cottage to check the bread dough resting by the hearth. She lifts the linen cloth, the dough now risen, pillowy and fragrant with yeast. She shapes it gently, her hands moving with practiced grace, forming rounds and twisting braids, each loaf unique in its beauty. She places the loaves on a wooden board, dusted with flour, and sets them aside for the morning's bake. The anticipation of warm bread, golden and crisp, fills her with a quiet happiness. She washes her hands, the cool water soothing against tired skin, and dries them on a soft linen towel. The kitchen is peaceful, the tasks of the day complete. She lingers for a moment, breathing deeply of the mingled scents of flour, honey, and wood smoke, and lets her thoughts drift like the falling snow beyond her window. On a narrow shelf above the hearth rests a collection of small treasures, buttons of mother of pearl, a twist of ribbon, a tiny silver thimble. The baker's wife runs her fingers over each, recalling the stories they hold. The thimble was a gift from her grandmother, the ribbon from a May Day celebration, the buttons saved from a beloved dress long outgrown. Each object is a charm, a link to loved ones and distant days. She selects the thimble and slips it onto her finger, the metal cool and familiar. She sits by the fire, the thimble catching the light as she stitches the final seam on her daughter's mitten. The act is small but meaningful, a promise of warmth for the days to come, and she smiles, feeling the gentle satisfaction of a task completed with love. She moves now to the small parlor window, drawing the curtain just enough to look out at the snow-blanketed garden. The moon is high, casting a silvery sheen over the hedges and bare branches. She spots the faint tracks of a fox, delicate paw prints winding their way beneath the lilac bush, and smiles at the thought of the silent world beyond her door. The garden is sleeping, the herbs and bulbs safe beneath their coverlet of frost. She thinks of the coming spring, of new shoots and the return of color, but for now she is content with the quiet beauty of winter. She closes the curtain once more and turns back to the fire, feeling the gentle weight of the seasons rest in her heart. The world outside may be cold, but within her home all is warm and well. The baker's wife settles into her favorite chair, an old wingback upholstered in faded green velvet, its arms worn to softness. She pulls a knitted shawl around her shoulders, its weight comforting, and picks up her poetry book once more. The words are soothing, each line a gentle caress, and she reads aloud to the sleeping cat, her voice a soft murmur in the hush of the night. She chooses verses that speak of snow and hearth, of love and gentle labor. The poems settle around her like a blanket, their rhythm slow and steady. She marks her place with a pressed violet and sets the book aside, her heart quieted by the beauty of language and the peace of the winter's night. The fire burns low, the room filled with the golden hush of contentment, and she lets herself drift in the stillness. She rises and moves through the cottage, checking on her sleeping family. Her husband breathes deeply in his chair, the cat now curled atop a pile of mended linens. The air in the hallway is cool and fragrant with rosemary. She pauses in the kitchen to tidy a few stray crumbs, her hands moving gently, quietly. She lights a fresh candle, its beeswax scent warm and sweet, and places it on the kitchen table. The flame flickers gently, casting soft shadows on the walls and filling the room with a golden, tranquil light. She sits for a moment, hands folded, watching the play of light and shadow, and feels the deep, steady calm that comes from a day well spent. The snow outside continues to fall, each flake a lullaby, coaxing the world into rest. The baker's wife stands and moves to the pantry, where she checks her stores for the coming days. She smiles as she surveys the neat rows of jars of applesauce, pickled beetroot, spiced plums, and candied ginger. Each jar is a memory of sunlit afternoons, of gathering and preserving, of laughter and shared work. She selects a jar of blackberry jam, its color deep and rich, and sets it on the table for tomorrow's breakfast. The act is simple, yet it fills her with pleasure, a quiet assurance that her family will wake to sweetness and care. She returns the other jars to their places, her fingers lingering on the cool glass, and closes the pantry door. The kitchen is peaceful, the lamplight soft, and she stands for a moment in the doorway, breathing in the scent of winter and feeling utterly at home. As the night deepens, the baker's wife pours herself a final cup of herbal teacher chamomile, its blossoms pale and fragrant. She adds a spoonful of honey and sits at the kitchen table, cradling the warm cup in both hands. The tea's steam rises in gentle curls, carrying the scent of meadow and summer sun. She sips slowly, savoring the floral sweetness, and lets her mind drift to pleasant memories, childhood summers, village fairs, evenings spent in quiet conversation with friends. The house is silent now, the only sound the faint tick of the clock and the soft sigh of the wind. The candle flickers, casting a golden glow over her teacup, the pattern of wildflowers on the china blurring in the gentle light. The world outside disappears into snow and silence, and she feels herself growing drowsy, wrapped in comfort and peace. She rises and moves through the parlor, gathering the last of the day's tasks. She folds the woolen blanket on the settee, smoothing its surface with gentle hands, and arranges the cushions just so. The cat stretches and yawns, then curls up once more, content in the warmth of the fire. The baker's wife checks the windows, ensuring they are firmly latched, and draws the curtains tight against the winter night. The fabric is soft and thick, embroidered with ivy and snowdrops. She pauses for a moment, hands resting on the windowsill, and listens to the distant sound of a carriage passing on the snowy street, its wheels muffled, its lights faint and golden in the dark. She closes her eyes and breathes in the calm, letting the peace of the evening settle deep within her. She returns to the kitchen, her steps slow and measured, and checks the bread dough once more. It has risen beautifully, the soft pillow of dough fragrant with promise. She covers it with a fresh linen cloth, its weave fine and cool, and sets it atop the warming shelf for the night. The kitchen is silent now, bathed in the gentle glow of candlelight. She stands for a moment, listening to the quiet, feeling the deep, steady rhythm of her breath. Each inhale is scented with flower and honey, each exhale a release of the day's cares. She lets the silence wash over her, a gentle tide of restfulness, and feels her body grow heavy with sleep. The snow outside continues to fall, silent and unhurried, each flake a benediction on the world below. The baker's wife moves quietly through the hallway, her footsteps muffled by the braided rag rug beneath her feet. She pauses before a small table where a vase of winter berries gleams in the candlelight. The berries are bright red, their color vivid against the white of the linen runner. She touches the vase gently, recalling the morning walk when she gathered them, the cold air biting and fresh, her breath a cloud in the dawn light. She smiles at the memory, grateful for the beauty that even the barest season can bring. She moves to the staircase, her hand resting on the smooth banister, and ascends slowly, feeling the house settle around her, each room quiet and safe. The only sounds are the soft creak of the stairs and the distant, comforting tick of the clock below. At the top of the stairs, she pauses before a window, looking out over the snow-blanketed rooftops. The city is transformed beneath the moonlight, each building softened, each street a ribbon of silver. She marvels at the quiet, the stillness that settles over all and breathes in the peace of the night. The glass is cold beneath her fingers, the frost etching delicate patterns on its surface. She imagines the city sleeping, each home a sanctuary, each family wrapped in their own warmth and dreams. She draws the curtain closed and turns back to the dim hallway, her steps slow and deliberate. The house is a cocoon, a world apart, and she feels herself growing lighter, her mind drifting towards rest. The snow continues to fall, silent and steady, the world hushed and utterly serene. She moves softly into her bedroom, the room cool and gently lit by a single candle. The bed is piled high with quilts, their patchwork patterns a riot of color and memory, scraps of old dresses, bits of her husband's shirts, remnants of her daughter's baby clothes. She runs her hand over the top quilt, the stitches neat and even, each square a testament to patience and care. The pillowcases are linen, cool and smooth, embroidered with tiny violets at the corners. She opens the window a crack, letting in a breath of icy air, and then closes it again, savoring the freshness. She changes into her nightdress, the flannel soft against her skin, and lets her hair down, brushing it slowly, each stroke a gentle meditation. The world narrows to this room, this bed, this moment of quiet preparation for sleep. She sets her brush aside and arranges her hair in a loose braid, the strands thick and glossy, the motion calming. She sits at her dressing table where a small glass bottle of rosewater waits. She dabs a few drops onto her pulse points, the scent delicate and floral, a memory of summer gardens. She glances into the mirror, the candlelight softening her features, casting shadows that dance on the walls. She smiles softly at her reflection, accepting the gentle changes that time brings, and feels gratitude for the journey of each day. She tidies the table, placing her brush and comb in a small wooden box, its surface carved with a pattern of leaves. She smooths the covers on her bed and plumps the pillows, preparing her little nest for rest. The room is quiet, the world outside muffled by snow, and she feels a deep, abiding sense of peace. Before slipping into bed, the baker's wife kneels by the window and offers a silent prayer of thanks for the warmth of her home, the health of her family, the beauty of the snowfall, and the gentle rhythm of daily life. She folds her hands, feeling the cool linen of her nightdress, and lets her mind dwell on all that is good and steady in her world. She listens to the wind outside, the snow tapping softly against the pane, and feels the quiet strength that comes from faith and love. She rises, smoothing her nightdress, and climbs beneath the covers. The quilts settle around her, heavy and warm, and she draws them up to her chin, feeling utterly safe. The candle flickers on the bedside table, its light golden and comforting, and she lets her eyes drift closed, trusting in the peace of the night. She lies in bed, listening to the sounds of the house, faint creak of settling timbers, the distant tick of the clock, the soft purr of the cat curled at her feet. Her breath slows, deep and even, each inhale drawing in the scent of linen and rosewater, each exhale releasing the last remnants of wakefulness. She thinks back over her evening, savoring each small joy, the warmth of the fire, the laughter of her daughter, the quiet companionship of her husband, the gentle fall of snow beyond the windows. The world outside is hushed, wrapped in the velvet darkness of winter night, and she feels herself drifting, lighter and lighter, on a tide of contentment. The candle burns low, its flame a gentle guardian, and she lets herself float on the edge of dreams, safe within her cozy sanctuary. As she hovers on the threshold of sleep, the baker's wife's thoughts become slower, softer, each memory a warm embrace. She recalls the clatter of the bread pans, the smooth feel of dough beneath her hands, the sweet tang of honey on her tongue. She hears, faintly, the echo of her mother's voice singing an old lullaby as she rocked her to sleep in a cottage not so different from this one. The melody is soothing, winding through her thoughts like a ribbon of light. She feels the weight of the quilts, the gentle warmth of the cat, the cool linen against her cheek. Outside, the snow continues to fall, a silent benediction on rooftops and cobblestones. The world narrows to the rhythm of her breath, the steady beating of her heart, and the infinite peace of this winter's night. The candle's flame dances low, casting gentle golden ripples across the ceiling. In the hush, the baker's wife listens to the quiet song of the night, a distant church bell tolling the hour, a sleigh's faint jingle far off along the avenue, the soft sighing of wind through the eaves. Each sound is tender, an invitation to rest. She tucks her hands beneath her pillow, the fabric cool and crisp, and lets her body sink further into the mattress. Her thoughts drift to the snowy garden, to the rosemary sleeping beneath its coverlet, to the promise of spring and the memory of wild violets. The night is long and gentle, a cradle for dreams. With each breath, she slips deeper into stillness, the world outside fading to silence, the snow a gentle lullaby. The room grows darker as the candle gutters, its pool of wax deepening. The baker's wife is suspended between waking and sleep, her body heavy, her mind adrift. She hears the soft rustle of her husband's quilt, the familiar sound of his quiet breathing beside her, steady and strong. The cat shifts, purring in its sleep, a warm weight at her feet. She listens to the distant song of wind in the chimney, a gentle, rising hush. The world feels infinitely safe, the boundaries of the cottage sure and loving. Each detail of the day recedis aprons and bread, laughter and music, letters and memories until only the present moment remains. She is at peace, wrapped in the embrace of home and night, and she lets herself slip, slowly, softly, into the arms of sleep. All is so still now. The candle burns its last, the flame flickering, drawing shadows long across the walls. The baker's wife breathes deeply, her chest rising and falling in the slow, steady rhythm of restful slumber. The snow falls silently, blanketing the world in softness, its quiet weight reassuring. The night is deep, and the only sounds are the gentle ticking of the clock, the sigh of the wind, and the peaceful breathing of the house's inhabitants. Even the city seems to pause, wrapped in a dream of white and gold. The baker's wife floats in her sleep, her dreams gentle and calm, a tapestry of loved ones, warm kitchens, and the endless fall of snow. Each minute drifts by, slow and sure, inviting you, dear listener, to drift alongside her, safe and at rest. The final hour of night settles over the cottage, the darkness deep and velvety, yet never frightening. The world is held in a gentle embrace, each snowflake a silent blessing. The baker's wife lies quietly, her breathing slow and peaceful, her hand resting in the soft hollow between quilts. The air is cool, scented with lavender and rosewater, and the silence is profound, a silence that soothes, comforts, and enfolds. Outside, the city is a world of diamonds, the snow glinting in the moonlight, each rooftop a smooth, pristine drift. The trees stand as sentinels, their branches etched in silver. Within the cottage, time itself seems to pause, every detail softened, every shadow kind. Let yourself sink into this quiet, let the hush of snow and the warmth of love calm your heart. The candle's last glow fades, leaving the room in gentle darkness. The baker's wife lies still, her body heavy and at ease, her spirit floating on the edge of dreams. The only light now is the faint shimmer of snow outside the window, its radiance cool and pure. The house is silent except for the faintest murmur of wind and the steady, reassuring tick of the clock. She dreams of warm bread and spring gardens, of laughter and song, of the steady rhythm of days spent in gentle labor and quiet joy. The world outside is a mystery, softened and safe beneath its downy cover. Each breath is an invitation to deeper rest, each moment a step further into peace. The night is long and kind, and she lets herself drift, unhurried, into the heart of sleep. City slumbers, its sounds hushed by snow, its light dimmed by the weight of winter clouds. The baker's wife breathes softly, her dreams a gentle tumble of memory and hope. She sees her mother's hands, kneading dough in a sunlit kitchen, her daughter's smile, bright as spring, her husband's steady gaze, shining with affection. The cottage, all of wood and stone and wool, is a cradle, holding her safe. The clock ticks on, marking each moment with a sound as steady as a heartbeat. The world is reduced to the simple comforts of bed and linen, of warmth and quiet, of love and belonging. The snow falls and falls, patient and unceasing, and the night deepens, its silence as soft as a mother's lullaby. The baker's wife slips further into sleep, her dreams slow and unhurried. She walks through fields of wheat, golden and waving in a summer breeze. She hears the song of birds and the distant rush of a stream. Her hands are covered in flour, her heart light and free. In her dream, the cottage is filled with friends and laughter, the table spread with bread and honey, the air sweet with roses. All is well, all is safe. The snow outside is forgotten for a time, the night's cold held at bay by the warmth of her spirit. She drifts deeper, her breathing even and calm, her body utterly at rest. In this world of dreams, there is only peace, only gentle joy, only the slow unfolding of the night towards dawn. The gentle hush of the sleeping house is complete. The fire has burned down to embers, the last glow fading into darkness. The cat is a warm, soft weight at her feet, its purr a distant echo in her dreams. The quilts are heavy, the pillow cool, the world reduced to the steady rhythm of her breath. The baker's wife drifts between dreams and waking, her thoughts growing softer and slower. She dreams of the garden in spring, of violets blooming beneath the hedges, of bees humming in the sunshine. She feels the warmth of her daughter's hand, the comfort of familiar voices, the quiet assurance that all is well. The snow falls outside, silent and ceaseless, weaving the world into a tapestry of peace. The long night continues its gentle passage. The moon is high, painting the snow in silver blue, the shadows deep and soft. The baker's wife floats in sleep, her body completely relaxed, her mind at peace. She breathes the slow, deep breath of those who are utterly safe, utterly loved. She dreams of the bakery at dawn, the scent of fresh bread filling the air, the golden crusts lined up on the counter. She dreams of warm hands, of laughter and song, of the simple beauty of a life well lived. Each moment is slow, unhurried, a gentle descent into rest. The night is kind, the world outside blanketed in white, the cottage a warm and silent haven. Let your own breath slow, let your heart grow quiet, and rest now, deeply, in the peace of the night. The cottage is wrapped tight in the hush of snow, each window a soft rectangle of darkness, each room filled with the slow, contented breathing of its family. The baker's wife lies still, her dreams gentle and untroubled. She dreams of weaving at a loom, the shuttle moving back and forth, threads bright and strong beneath her hands. She dreams of the walled garden, the scent of rosemary and thyme heavy in the air, the sun warm on her shoulders. Each dream is slow and sweet, a lullaby in her mind. The fire's last embers glow faintly, the house is warm, the night outside deep and silent. The clock ticks on, slow and steady, a measure of peace. The snow falls without end, each flake a blessing, every moment a gift of quiet. The world narrows to the cottage's gentle embrace. The baker's wife's breath is soft, her heart steady, her dreams a slow unfurling of beauty and calm. She dreams of the early morning, of flour swirling in the lamplight, of the first rise of dough and the promise of warm bread. She dreams of sunlight on the kitchen floor, of her daughter's laughter and the sound of sparrows in the eaves. Her body is heavy and warm beneath the quilts, her mind at rest. The snow outside is endless, the silence deep as the sea. The house is a sanctuary, a place where only kindness dwells, where every moment is gentle, where every breath is easy. Rest here, in this peace, and let the night cradle you, safe and beloved. The candle is out, the fire a memory, the night long and deep. The baker's wife drifts on a sea of sleep, her thoughts slow and formless. She dreams of linen aprons hung to dry by the fire, of honey jars lined up in neat rows, of wild violets pressing through the snow in the first days of spring. Her heart is light, her mind as soft as the snowfall outside. The cat stirs at her feet, its purr a faint vibration, then settles again, content. The world is quiet, the house at rest, the city beyond a blur of snowy rooftops. There is no hurry, no worry, only the slow unfolding of the night, the gentle assurance that all is well and all will be well by morning's light. The hours slip by, each minute slower than the last. The baker's wife breathes deeply, her dreams a slow, shimmering river. She sees the kitchen bathed in dawn light, the bread rising golden in the oven, her family gathered around the table. She hears the gentle murmur of voices, the clink of cups, the soft laughter of those she loves best. Every detail is soft, every sound gentle, every feeling warm and easy. The snow falls outside, muffling the world, holding the city in a quiet embrace. The night is deep, but never lonely. The darkness velvet and kind. Let yourself drift further, let your own thoughts slow, let your breath deepen, and rest now, safe in the comfort of this winter night. The cottage is still, its rooms filled with dreams. The baker's wife is lost in sleep, her body heavy and warm, her mind quiet and slow. She dreams of the walled garden in morning light, dew sparkling on rosemary and mint, the air fresh and clear. She dreams of the gentle clatter of breakfast, of her daughter's sleepy smile, of the soft coo of pigeons outside the window. The world is a tapestry of kindness and peace. The snow falls on, steady and silent, the city wrapped in white. The clock ticks softly in the hall, the cat purrs, her husband breathes beside her at sound a lullaby. The night is long, the peace is deep, and the hours slip by, slow and gentle as a falling flake of snow. The darkness is complete, yet never frightening. The baker's wife's dreams are gentle, her heart easy, her soul at rest. She floats through memories of gentle morning soft porridge steaming in blue-edged bowls, of the lace of frost on kitchen windows, of the hush before the world wakes. She dreams of spring days and summer gardens, of laughter and music and the warmth of sun on her neck. Each dream is soft, a slow drift through comfort and calm. The snow outside falls heavier, the silence deeper, the world smaller and more intimate. In her sleep, the baker's wife smiles, her spirit soothed by the safety of home, the nearness of loved ones, the quiet passage of the night. Let the peace of her dreams become your own, as the hours drift by. The snow settles deeper, blanketing the world in stillness. The baker's wife sleeps on, her breath soft and regular, her mind quiet and untroubled. She dreams of baking, of the scent of warm spice and fresh dough, of honey combed from the hive, of the laughter of friends gathered in her kitchen. She dreams of gentle rain on slate roofs, of violets blooming in shadowed corners, of letters written and received, full of love and news from far away. The night is endless, the silence absolute, the peace profound. The house is a cradle, the quilts heavy and warm, the darkness kind. Let your own body relax, let your breath slow, let the gentle hush of the snow carry you deeper into rest, into safety, into sleep. The cottage is a sanctuary, the night long and soothing. The baker's wife dreams of soft light through lace curtains, of her daughter's laughter, the whisper of wind in the garden, the taste of warm bread with blackberry jam. Each dream is a blessing, each moment slow and sweet. The fire is out, the room dark, the only light the faint reflection of snow outside. The house is silent, every corner filled with the quiet of sleep. In her dreams, she walks through a field of wild flowers, their scent fresh and green, the sky bright with morning sun. She hears her name called in love, feels the gentle weight of her hand in hers, knows she is cherished and safe. The snow continues to fall, the world outside stilled, the hours unfolding in peace. The air is cool, the quilts heavy, the darkness profound. The baker's wife lies in deep sleep, her dreams soft as the first snow settling on her cottage roof. She dreams of summer meadows, of bees circling lavender and thyme, of fresh apricots picked from the tree. She dreams of quiet mornings and gentle evenings, of laughter shared with friends, of the warmth of a fire on a winter's night. The city is silent, wrapped in white, the world held in the gentle embrace of snow. Each breath is slower, each thought softer, each dream a step further from waking. Rest now, in the safety of this home, in the comfort of a heart full of love, in the endless quiet of the falling night. The snow falls on, never hurried, never ending. The baker's wife is lost in dreams, her body utterly relaxed, her spirit at ease. She dreams of the scent of rising bread, the taste of honey and butter, the softness of linen against her skin. She dreams of her daughter's small hand in hers, of her husband's quiet laughter, of the gentle hum of the spinning wheel by the window. The night is deep, the world outside held still by snow and silence. The fire is out, the candle burned away, only the soft glow of memory and dream remains. Each sound is gentle, her own breath, the cat's purr, the beat of her heart. Let your own body grow heavier, your thoughts slower, your spirit lighter, and rest within the hush of this winter night. The darkness is complete and kind. The baker's wife floats in sleep, her dreams a slow drift through memory and hope. She dreams of aprons hanging to dry, of violets pressed in a book, of gentle hands weaving threads into cloth. She hears the quiet laughter of friends, the soft patter of rain, the distant sound of church bells at dawn. Each dream is a lullaby, each moment a benediction. The snow outside muffles every sound, the world drawn close, intimate and safe. The house is at rest, the city beyond a distant memory. Let yourself be carried by the gentle tide of night, by the hush of snow, by the slow, sweet rhythm of dreams unfolding in the dark. The night grows even quieter, the snow falling thicker, the world outside fading to white. The baker's wife is deep in sleep, her breath slow and even, her body heavy and warm. She dreams of walled gardens, of violets and rosemary, of laughter echoing along sunlit paths. She dreams of the kitchen at dawn, of flour dust swirling in the air, of bread rising golden in the oven. Each dream is slow, each moment gentle, each feeling safe and kind. The darkness is deep, the silence absolute, the peace unbroken. Let your own thoughts slow and drift. Let your breath deepen and soften. Let the hush of the night enfold you in rest. The world is safe, the night is long, and sleep is gentle as snow falling on the roof. The hours pass, unhurried and soft. The baker's wife sleeps on, her dreams filled with the quiet joys of daily life: warm bread, the scent of beeswax, the gentle brush of linen, the flicker of candlelight. She dreams of spring, of violets in bloom and rain tapping softly on stone, of honey stirred into tea and the laughter of a child. The night is endless, the silence deep, the world reduced to the gentle rhythm of breath and the softness of quilts. The snow falls without end, each flake a silent blessing. Let yourself be carried by the slow tide of night, by the warmth of the cottage, by the peace of sleep. All is well, all is calm, all is safe in this quiet world. The final hours of night approach, each moment slower and softer. The baker's wife lies still, her body relaxed and warm, her dreams quiet and calm. She dreams of the cottage at dawn, of firelight on stone, of her daughter's sleepy smile, of the taste of warm bread and honey. The world outside is silent, the snow falling heavier, the city held in the gentle embrace of winter. The house is a haven, every room filled with peace, every corner wrapped in the hush of sleep. The darkness is deep, the silence profound, the night long and kind. Let your breath slow, let your thoughts soften, let yourself drift further into rest, held safe in the arms of night. The cottage is utterly quiet, the only sound the gentle breathing of those within. The baker's wife sleeps deeply, her dreams slow and gentle. She dreams of the walled garden in spring, of bluebells and violets, of the soft hum of bees and the sun warm on her shoulders. She dreams of the bakery at dawn, the scent of fresh bread rising golden and crisp. Her heart is light, her spirit at ease, her body cradled by heavy quilts and the safety of home. The snow outside is thick, the silence complete, the darkness soft. Let your own breath slow, let your body grow heavy, let the peace of this winter night carry you deeper into sleep. The world outside the cottage fades to white, the snow falling ceaseless and gentle, each flake a silent song. The baker's wife lies in deep sleep, her dreams a slow drift through memory and hope. She dreams of laughter echoing in kitchens, of bread rising in warm ovens, of the gentle comfort of loved ones nearby. The house is silent, the fire out, the night long and calm. The darkness is complete, the peace profound, the rest deep and true. Let your breath slow, let your thoughts grow soft, let yourself drift with the baker's wife, deeper and deeper into sleep, carried by the hush of snow and the warmth of love. The night is endless and kind. The baker's wife sleeps, her body heavy beneath the quilts, her mind at rest. She dreams of wild violets blooming in spring, of the taste of honey on fresh bread, of laughter shared with friends. Each dream is slow and sweet, a gentle procession through comfort and joy. The snow falls outside, muffling every sound, the world held in a cocoon of peace. The hours slip by, soft and slow, each moment a step further into rest. Let your own body grow heavier, your breath quieter, your thoughts slower, and let yourself drift, safe and calm, into the heart of sleep. The world is silent, the night deep, the peace unbroken. The baker's wife lies still, her breath slow and steady, her dreams a gentle tide. She dreams of the first snow falling on the cottage roof, of the warm light of morning, of her daughter's laughter and the quiet song of the wind in the eaves. The fire is out, the house silent, the city beyond a distant memory. The snow falls on, each flake a blessing, each moment a lullaby. Let yourself drift further, let your mind slow, let the hush of the night carry you into deep and gentle rest. The hours grow slower, the darkness deeper, the silence absolute. The baker's wife floats in sleep, her dreams slow and gentle. She dreams of linen aprons and beeswax candles, of violets in bloom and the scent of bread rising. The world outside is white and silent, the house warm and safe. The only sound is the gentle breath of those within, the soft sigh of the wind, the slow beating of her heart. Let your own breath slow, let your body grow heavier, let the peace of this winter night cradle you in sleep. The night is long and gentle. The baker's wife is lost in dreams, her body at ease, her heart full. She dreams of laughter and music, of sunlight in the garden, of the quiet grace of daily life. The house is silent, the fire cold, the snow deep outside. Each breath is a lullaby, each moment a blessing. The world is safe, the night is kind, and sleep is deep and true. Let your own breath slow, let your mind grow soft, let yourself drift ever further into the gentle embrace of sleep. The darkness is profound, the silence complete. The baker's wife sleeps deeply, her dreams soft and sweet. She dreams of warm bread and honey, of violets and rosemary, of laughter shared with those she loves. The house is still, the snow falling silently, the night long and gentle. Each breath is slow, each thought a step further from waking, each moment a deeper descent into rest. Let the hush of the night carry you, let the peace of the cottage enfold you, let yourself drift ever deeper into sleep. The hours slip by, slow and unhurried. The baker's wife lies in deep sleep, her dreams gentle and sweet. She dreams of the kitchen at dawn, of the walled garden in spring, of laughter and music and the soft embrace of loved ones. The world outside is silent, the snow falling without end, the darkness soft and kind. Each breath is slower, each moment softer, each dream a gentle lullaby. Let your own body relax, your breath deepen, your thoughts grow quiet, and let yourself rest in the peace of this winter night. The night is almost over, the darkness deep and kind. The baker's wife sleeps on, her body utterly relaxed, her dreams slow and sweet. She dreams of warm bread, of violets blooming, of laughter and love. The cottage is silent, the snow thick, the world wrapped in the hush of winter. Each breath is soft, each moment a step deeper into rest. Let yourself drift slower and slower into the heart of sleep, carried by the gentle hush of snow and the warmth of love. The world is utterly silent, the cottage a cradle, the snow a soft and endless lullaby. The baker's wife is lost in deepest sleep, her dreams gentle and calm. The house is still, the fire a memory, the darkness kind. Each breath is slow, each thought fading, each moment a gentle drift. Let the final silence settle over you, let the hush of snow and the warmth of love guide you ever deeper into rest. Sleep now safe and cherished, held in the gentle embrace of winter, the peace of the cottage, and the endless blessing of a quiet night. And so, dear friend, our gentle journey comes to a close. Thank you so very much for spending this peaceful evening with us. We hope this story has brought you comfort, warmth, and the sweetest rest. Until next time, sleep well, and know that another cozy tale awaits you soon. Good night.